So this is going to be an owner review of the first 1,400 miles of my 2021 Chevy Tahoe Duramax 3.0 diesel LS model. So I'm on my third week with this vehicle right now, and I was waiting until I had driven it enough to get a good feel for it so I would actually have something meaningful to say. Overall, it's fantastic. It actually drives like a luxury vehicle. I've owned like a Mercedes GL before, and although because this is like a body on frame, it does still have a little bit of the truck motions. It still has a luxury car feel to it. It's very well isolated, very quiet and controlled on the highway. The seats in the LS are extremely comfortable. The LT also had comfortable seats, but I wanted to go with the LS because I like the cloth, and I just basically wanted to get the cheapest possible diesel Tahoe. This was really hard to find now with the car shortage and all of that stuff going on. I was lucky I was able to snag one of these and actually get a discount. The dealer had inadvertently put a discount on their website of $1,795. You gotta love your left lane drivers there, although I'm not sure if they're gonna speed up. Probably erratic driver. And they honored it, because at first the guy told me that it was sticker price, and I did have to pay in advance for this car. It was in transit. I literally called the minute it hit Auto Trader, and it took about 10 days for it to come in. So I was a little nervous about that. I had never dealt with that dealership before, but they were fantastic. Hugh White Chevy of Lancaster, Ohio is where I bought it. I would recommend them to anybody. So what else? For an LS, it has some surprising features like the dual climate control. I don't know if this thing is magnified or whatever. It has dual zone climate control. It actually has rear climate control as well. So that's really nice. It has keyless entry, so you basically just have the key in your pocket and push the button on the door. Keyless start. I wasn't necessarily expecting it to have all of that. Stereo is pretty good for the base model stereo. It sounds it's not overwhelming with bass or whatever, but it's got a nice clear sound, and it even has speakers up above there. So far, it's been 100% reliable. Haven't had any issues. And you can see here on the fuel average meter, I've been able to actually get 38 miles per gallon average for the 25-mile loop. It's unreal, the fuel economy this thing gets. Okay, this car here is being a little iffy. They weren't paying attention to their driving, clearly. Anyway, it is it's a great vehicle overall. The diesel is very torquey. It feels really good to drive. It's quiet and refined, but it has just enough of the diesel sounds that if you're a person like me and you like a diesel vehicle, it's got that. I really like the torque. I mean, it's gotten a lot more torquey as I've put more miles on it. I did an acceleration video when it had 300 miles on it, and it feels actually way faster now that the engine's broken in a bit. It did do one slightly weird thing once, and it's never repeated. Okay, so the dealer didn't fill it with DEF, so I added 2.5 gallons of DEF. about a week after that, it showed over half on the gauge, or maybe about half on the gauge, and I got a message on the screen that said DEF 1,213 miles remaining, or something like that. Then it went right after that. It went right to the level screen, which still showed plenty of DEF. I've seen something on the Duramax forums about people having that message, so I don't know what was going on with that. Maybe it thought I was driving differently. Has not repeated, so that's just a note. We'll see if that grows into anything. For those of you who have seen my other videos, you know I put over 200,000 miles on a Chevy Cruze diesel, and obviously I believe in Chevy diesels because I bought another one. And yeah, so just overall they did a really fantastic job on this vehicle. It's got some cool apps, like I've got the Weather Channel app, and right now I've got the OnStar. It came with like a 1 month trial of OnStar, but if you give them a credit card number, you get 2 months additional for free, and plus they gave me $100 worth of points, whatever they're called.
In 1 1/4 miles, take exit 18 on the right to go on to I-79 North.
Okay, so you can hear the voice instructions kicking in there. I'll go ahead and get over into this lane. Won't pass anybody anymore until I get to the next exit. The material quality on the inside is very nice. You can see I've got like it's faux leather, but it's soft, and it actually sort of feels like leather. It's on top of the dash. It's also on top of the doors and where you put your elbow. It's all very soft. There's plenty of storage. It's got ample connectors, USB and I think USB-C. It's got a 12 volt. It's also got a 120 volt. I think there's like a plug-in for that. It does have the auto stop start, which
Take exit 18 on the right to go on to I-79 North.
I learned that now they're offering them without that for a $50 credit. That would have been nice, because I like to turn that off every time. That can't possibly be good for a turbo engine. If anybody has any comments on that.
Continue on I-79 North for 21 miles. Then, bear left for I-376 West.
If anybody has any comments on that, like do they pump in coolant and oil to the turbos after you shut them off so that they don't burn up? I know the older turbos back in the day, if you did not cool them off, they would have a shortened lifespan. You know, I'd like to think the engineers thought of that when they were putting this together on this car, but yeah, any feedback on that? So let's see what else to say. This one does not come with the radar cruise control, but it does have, like, you see the little green car there above the color display. It does like give you collision warning, so you can actually, on this car, I think this is the first car I've ever had where you can leave the warning on but turn off the automatic braking. The other cars, modern cars I've had, you either basically turn the whole thing on or off without any levels, and this one has a level where you can do that. The jury's out on the sound quality for the Sirius. I hate the company Sirius. They screwed me over years ago, and the only time I ever used the Sirius is during the free trials, or, well, I should say, I'm sure I paid for it in the cost of the car. That's the only time I ever use it anymore. The jury's out on the sound. It used to always sound really like a low quality MP3 to me. It's been kind of hit or miss in this car. The Apple CarPlay is worth noting. When you're playing music through your iPhone using the Apple CarPlay, I think it's wireless. Yeah, it is wireless. It drops a lot. I actually test drove one of these a few months ago, and it did the same thing. So it seems like Chevy probably has not figured out the wireless Apple CarPlay integration with music just yet. Now, as far as the phone integration, my Chevy Cruze had some of the best phone integration of any car I've had before, because it would like read your texts to you and you could reply to the texts right away. But I want to say that was when I had my Windows phone. I don't think I ever used my iPhone with that car. I had an iPhone 3, and then I had the Windows phone for a few years until I broke it, and then I just now got an iPhone, well, a couple years ago now, got an iPhone 11, which is what I'm using right now. And, you know, it's okay. Another thing that it does that I'm not a fan of is whenever you start the car, it will always start playing your music at the last volume you listened to it, even if you previously paused it. So I don't like that feature. I would prefer if it remembered that, hey, I paused the music, I don't want to hear it the next time I start the car. So I always have to, if I don't want to listen to music in that particular trip, I always have to re-pause the music. So, you know, just minor things. You know, again, the seat comfort, I've taken this on one 10-hour trip already, and it has just amazing seat comfort. Now, I did want to also comment, the higher trim levels, the ones that have the heated and cooled seats, those seats are awful. They're very hard, very uncomfortable, and that was one of the reasons why I completely shied away from a higher trim level. This LS is plenty nice, and it's significantly cheaper than even the LT. You know, so in terms of, it just depends. Like, you know, there's no blind spot assist or whatever, but I think that might be part of a package. So I think for people like me, the LS is more than enough of a car. I paid, I want to say, just under $55 for this. The only options that it came with, which is pretty much what I would have gotten anyway if I would have ordered it. It came with the 20-inch wheels, which I think contributes to a really good ride. It's a nice balance between ride and still having a lot of meat on the tires. And it came with the black bow tie emblems, which actually looks pretty darn cool, I think. Not something I would have thought of on my own, but now that I have it and on the black vehicle, it looks good. And of course, the diesel engine is considered an option, and it's quite a bargain. It's only $9.95 to get the diesel engine added to this car. So I was really happy with that. I thought it was going to be like a $3,000 option. One other thing, you know, I'm just kind of going through all the stuff I'm remembering about this car. So the remote start is pretty slick. It's easier than any other remote start I've ever had before. You just basically double tap the remote start button on the key and it immediately fires off. It's pretty cool. This is an observation. I don't know. Some people may like it, some people may not. I would like it to remember the last setting I had on the climate control. But what it does is it kind of puts itself into sort of an auto mode. So for example, if you had the air conditioner compressor off and you did the remote start and it was hot out, it would actually turn the AC compressor on and set the fan up to cool off the interior. You may like that, I mean, because you don't really have to think about it that way. but I tend to like to leave the AC compressor off as long as possible, just a personal preference. So, I mean, it's fine, but just another observation there. So that about sums up what I have learned about this vehicle in the 1,400 miles or so I have driven it. Great steering feel, great ride. I mean, it's just a joy to drive this vehicle. And yeah, anybody who's thinking about one of these, I would certainly recommend it. On the forums, some people have been having some trouble with various things, but most specifically the gas engines. There's a range of the gas engines that were manufactured, I want to say, between June and October of 2020, where one of the suppliers of some internal engine component, a valve spring or lifter or something, were building them with the wrong specs, and as a result, a lot of people were actually having to have their lifters replaced. Quite a fiasco, but the diesel engines, from what I've researched, are actually pretty reliable, pretty solid. I've seen they've been out for a year in the 1,500 trucks, and they seem to have gotten pretty good feedback. So I'm pretty confident. Pretty confident this car is going to do pretty well for me over time. And the other note about the diesel is it comes with a better warranty than the gas on the powertrain. The gas comes with 5 years, 60,000 miles, and the diesel comes with 5 years, 100,000 miles. And that's about it.